Arsenal faced Atletico Madrid in a clash of two very different footballing ideas. Arteta's side looked to control the game through structure and movement, while Simeone's men stuck to their trademark compact shape, waiting for the right moments to strike. Both teams adapted as the match went on, Arsenal tweaking their midfield setup to find rhythm, Atletico adjusting their press and defensive line to keep balance. Let's break down how each side tried to impose their style, and how the tactical battle unfolded across 90 minutes. Arsenal opened the game with a double pivot. Two holding midfielders positioned deep, acting as the anchor of their build-up. This setup wasn't just about safety, it was about control. By keeping two players close to the centre-backs, Arsenal created passing outlets that helped them play through Atletico's early pressure instead of around it. Every time Simeone's front line tried to press, the double pivot gave Arsenal an escape route, a calm base to recycle possession and reset the rhythm. It also allowed the fullbacks to step a bit higher without losing balance behind the ball. In these opening minutes, it was less about breaking lines and more about setting a tone, composure over chaos. Arsenal's early plan with the double pivot looked steady on paper, but in practice it struggled to shift Atletico's block. The midfield became static, two sitting players recycling sideways passes while Simeone's team sat deep, compact and unbothered. That's when Arteta made his adjustment. Both Skelly and Timber began tucking inside, stepping off the touchline to overload the middle of the pitch. The goal wasn't just numbers, it was angles. By pulling Atletico's wingers inward and drawing their midfield out of shape, Arsenal finally found ways to progress. This subtle tweak turned the midfield from a flat line into a dynamic engine, giving them control where it mattered most. Between the lines, with Atletico locking down the centre, Arteta needed a way to open the game up again. That's when Declan Rice started drifting inward, joining the build-up instead of holding his wide zone. His movement helped Arsenal morph into a three at the back for stability, two deeper midfielders to link play, and six advanced players stretching every line of Atletico's shape. Rice's positioning was key. By stepping into midfield, he connected the first phase to the final third, turning what had been a flat structure into one that constantly asked questions of Atletico's compact block. It was the moment Arsenal's possession started to feel alive again, calculated, layered, and finally able to pull Simeone's defence out of its comfort zone. As Arsenal began finding rhythm through the middle, Simeone responded the only way he knows, with structure. Atletico dropped into a reinforced shape, shifting from a back four into a 5-3-2. That extra defender closed the half spaces, sealing off the lanes Arsenal had just started to exploit. The adjustment turned their block into a wall, narrow, disciplined, and brutally hard to play through. Every time Arsenal tried to thread passes between the lines, they ran into a red and white barrier that simply refused to move. It wasn't passive defending, it was control through compression. Classic Simeone football at its most efficient. Even with Atletico sitting deep in a reinforced back five, Arsenal gradually began to impose themselves on the game. It wasn't about breaking through with a single pass or a moment of individual brilliance. It was about control, patience, and reading the defensive shifts. The Gunners circulated the ball across the pitch, stretching Atletico horizontally, forcing their compact block to move laterally with each switch. Every pass, every rotation was designed to probe the structure, to test which side might crack first. What really opened the door for Arsenal was Atletico's own ambition to attack. When Simeone's men pushed forward looking for transitions, their rigid defensive shape inevitably developed gaps. Arsenal capitalised on these spaces with intelligent movement between the lines, quick 1-2s, and players like Rice and Skelly stepping into pockets to connect the phases. The dominance wasn't just territorial, it was psychological. By controlling possession, dictating tempo, and exploiting the moments Atletico tried to turn defence into offence, Arsenal transformed a seemingly impenetrable 5-3-2 into a playable, even beatable formation. In the end, it was orchestration over chaos, methodical, measured, and ultimately effective.